I guess even relationships have been infected by social media. The boyfriends of Instagram trend has been around for a while, but has maybe escalated
Well,
a
have you
little bit.
seen, like, I read an article the other day, it made me want to kill myself. It was about like soft launching your boyfriend on Instagram.
Please tell me more.
So it's about telling girls, so this young woman wondering, how should you announce to your followers, like not influencers, like I'm talking ordinary young women, how should you announce your boyfriend? Should you do a soft launch where it's just like his arm, or should you do like a full reveal? And it's like, but it's kind of messed up because it's like, this is like introducing a brand deal or something. Like we're literally viewing our partners like products. Like,
yeah, how does this play in the optics of public life?
Someone said to me the other day, they commented on my Substack article, like a relationship is now just a brand collaboration, like two personal brands coming together.
Wow, that's good.
And then posting it online.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Soft launching. Well, I've seen people talk about the hard launch, which is just a couple photo that happens out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, so you have all of that. You have like, how do you manage the relationship on social media? But then you also have how social media affects the relationship. So like the boyfriends of Instagram thing. Like it's kind of funny that boyfriends, you know, when you see like a guy like, literally on the floor trying to get a good angle of the girl.
There was I went to Gili Tea in Bali. It's one of these little islands about 5 years ago. And there's a famous beach club that's got a swing sort of out in the water, and it's gorgeous. The sunsets, because it's so close to the equator, the sunsets in the summer at 6:30 p.m. and in the winter at 6 p.m. It's like 12 hours of daylight, and it just wobbles a little bit like that. And this girl wanted to get a photo of her on the swing, but she wanted to catch the sort of sun bouncing off the top of the water.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like watching this guy, and she was saying, no, you need to get lower. You need to like get sort of lower down, closer to the water. And this dude's sort of chest to shoulder to neck to face. And by this time, it's the sea. So it's not being gentle with him. So he's like trying to take this photo. The phone's out of the water. He's getting splashed. And I remember thinking like, that really better be wifey, because that's a big ask.
Well, also, I just always think, who is it for if your boyfriend is right there? Like it does get to the point where you're like posing in a bikini and your boyfriend's taking the pictures of you. It's like, is this for Instagram? Because I don't know. It's such a strange thing that's become so normalized.
It's a little bit of an indicator. I mean, unless this is your new album cover or whatever for your slam poetry or some shit that you do, there is a little bit of like, well, surely the person that you're trying to impress the most is the one that's taking the photo. So what does the photo need to be taken for? Unless it's for his private collection.
But it's become so normalized that like when I wrote about boyfriends of Instagram, people were replying like, oh, but I'm trying to get memories and stuff. And like I had a picture.
He's not in it.
Yeah. There was a picture of like 3 girls in bikinis and 3 guys all on the same beach, all taking pictures of their girlfriend. And people were defending it like, oh, they're allowed to have memories. I'm like, what? A memory of you in a bikini? Like, but I don't think they're lying. I think that's just how normalized it's become. It's like, well, obviously if you go to the beach, you do a photo shoot. And I always try and express that to people. Like, you think of an influencer and how her income depends on taking pictures, and everywhere she goes, she has to get content. Ordinary women think like that now. Most people have it in the back of their mind, I should be getting a social media picture, or this is a good moment, or this landscape would get really good clicks. Like, that's how they think. And I don't think some older people realize that young girls are behaving and thinking like their influencers all the time.
Is that an aspirational thing? Is that just that the power users of Instagram and TikTok behave like that because it's their job, which means that the people who are not, they have none of the same obligations, feel like they should behave in the same way? Or is there something more going on? Is this aspirational? Is this that people hope, maybe I get picked up by a modeling agency?
I think a part of it is that, but I think another part is they started doing this when their brains were forming as young girls. They started capturing their life as they went, and I don't think they can conceive of just living and existing. I really think it's that ingrained of like their entire childhood was having a childhood, but also performing and marketing and managing it all at the same time. And then like when you try and get out of it, like when I deleted Instagram years ago, that lingering was still in my head of like, maybe I should share this online, or maybe this could be a good photo opportunity. And it's really hard to kind of unwire that. And now if I go to an event and I don't take a picture, young women I'm friends with will be kind of confused. Like I say, I've been on holiday and I have no evidence of it. It's confusing to them because
They're suspicious about whether or not you actually went on the holiday.
It's kind of weird. And I think there are genuinely young people who go on holiday to get pictures.
For the photos.
Who even get in relationships for the photos, and who are quietly living their life for Instagram in ways that people don't realize has become that intense.
What do you make of the contribution of family breakdown to this? Of that, you mentioned before about that sort of lack of guidance, people looking for a little bit of guidance, maybe filling the void with entertainment that typically would have been taken up by family. What role does family breakdown have here?
I think it's linked to what I was saying about looking for relationship guidance. It's like, well, you look at something like mental health TikTok. People are sharing like their really deep trauma and turmoil and problems. And you can't help but look at it and think, are you close to your family? Like this is the kind of thing that you talk about with your family. It's what your family is there for. And now you're telling strangers on TikTok. And then you look at the statistics of the amount of Gen Z who aren't living with both their mother and father. I think in the UK, it's over half of children by 14 don't live with their mum and dad. And so they don't have a feeling of belonging at home. And then you stretch that out to they don't have any sense of community. Their community is a Reddit forum or Instagram. Like I, growing up, had no sense of what a local community is or like neighbors knowing each other. It's really foreign to me. And I think a lot of Gen Z, they don't have a conception of it beyond like an online community or like the LGBT community or something. That is the limit of community they know. So their family falls apart. There's nothing really to catch them. There's no neighborhood of adults who are there. Then you add that they're becoming less religious. So they don't feel that they belong to anything bigger than that. They have no faith in anything bigger. And so the feeling of loneliness is just so intense. And I was writing recently about how I think that actually one of the biggest drivers of behavior we see among Gen Z is this abandonment fear and feeling. Because their families fell apart, because they don't have community, because they don't belong to anything bigger, they feel constantly alone. And if you look at the kind of symptoms of abandonment, if you look at like attachment theory, like real attachment theory, not the TikToks, but the like Mary Ainsworth studies and everything, it shows like people who are abandoned, they're really hypersensitive to criticism. They have very low body image and self-esteem. All of the kind of caricature of Gen Z, all of the traits are like to do with this feeling of not belonging anywhere. So not to say that it explains everything, but I think families breaking down and not having a sense of belonging really messes people up. And I think a lot of Gen Z are kind of carrying that around and then looking for it in places. So that obviously they're going to spend hours on TikTok where people are talking to them and talking about their problems because they don't have anything resembling that in real life. And so, I think a lot of the things we kind of laugh at young people for as being kind of narcissistic and I guess selfish and kind of we cringe at them having these crazy screen times. It's like, what else is there?
In other news, this episode is brought to you by Function. Did you know that your annual physical only screens for around 20 biomarkers? That leaves a lot of gaps when it comes to understanding your health, which is why I partnered with Function. They run lab tests twice a year that monitor over 100 biomarkers. They even screen for 50 types of cancer at stage 1. They've got a team of expert physicians that takes that data, puts it into a simple dashboard, and gives you actionable recommendations to improve your health and lifespan. They track everything from your heart health to your hormone levels, thyroid function. Plus, Dr. Andrew Huberman is their scientific advisor and Dr. Mark Hyman is their chief medical officer. So you can trust that the data and insights you receive are scientifically sound and practical. Getting your blood work analyzed like this would usually cost thousands, but with Function, it's only $500. And right now, you can get the exact same panels I get plus bypass their 400,000 person waitlist by going to the link in the description below or heading to functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. That's functionhealth.com/modernwisdom. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip with Freya, the full-length conversation is fantastic. And just here. Chop, chop.